Finally, Barca manages to get through an international break without a ton of injuries for the next 6 months. There were some knocks to players like Dani Olmo and Lewandowski here and there, but in general, they managed to get away with one this time. And now there's an important stretch of the season coming up for Barcelona in October and November. And I think it's a good time to now talk about some Barca news as there are players returning from injury, as there are a lot of talks in the media. So let's get into it. And let's start it now with Ansu Fati. Now, Ansu Fati, obviously, in the summer, when he was training before he got injured, before the preseason matches in America, he impressed Hansi Flick, the rest of the players, and the rest of Hansi Flick's staff a tremendous amount. He was very explosive, very on his game in training, and then he got injured once again. It was only a month injury this time because usually he gets injured for multiple months, if not a year at a time. But he's expected to come back now against Girona or the game after that, and that should be an exciting thing to see because the fans have been waiting to see whether he can get back to any form of him of his former self. And Hansi Flick is excited as well because he's seen a lot of him in training and what he can do. Today, he almost scored a remarkable bicycle kick in training, and obviously it's only a practice session, but it's still something that should be highlighted. And I think if he can get to any form of his old self, I think that will be huge because Rafinha's been playing on the left, and obviously he's been playing wonderfully. But if we could have another player who could play wide left wing and compete with Rafinha and give him some rest sometimes, it would be a huge for squad depth and possibly even improving the squad overall. Next, if we move into Gavi now, he is expected to return in November, and it really is about time because he's been injured now for going on a year. He's a player that is extremely needed. He's probably the most aggressive player on the pitch whenever he plays. He always leaves 130% out there, and he's definitely a player that everyone wants to see in the Hansi Flick system, especially even Hansi Flick. He loves these high physicality, high intensity players, and it really is about time that he comes back. Now, obviously, he's gonna have to be eased in a little bit. He can't just come in and play full 90-minute matches at the highest possible intensity. It's still the ACL injury that he had. It's still a year of recovery that he had, but it really is about time he comes back, and hopefully he can come back stronger than ever. But on the other hand, if we talk about Frankie de Jong, now Frankie de Jong's been injured since the last Clasico, which was in April, and he got injured there with the ankle injury, of course, after the clash with Federico Valverde, and he didn't want to get surgery right after he got injured because he wanted to try and make the Euros. So if he got surgery, he would have to recover for a couple of months. But he didn't make the Euros. He's still injured, and even now it's the middle of September, and he still has no comeback date. His ankle injury seems to be a chronic one. Nobody knows when he's going to return, and at this point, he's still personally saying that he does not want to get surgery. The club and the doctors are suggesting he has surgery because it's been upwards of 4 months now, and there's been literally no progress or even an idea of when he can come back onto the pitch. And he's in the final year of his contract. There's been no response from him about extending a contract, even though his expires this summer. And it's very tedious situation when it comes to Frankie De Jong because it's interesting. He wants to do whatever he wants. He wants to get 700K a week salary, which he does get. He's the out and out highest paid player in the squad by far and away, and still he's not doing what the club suggests he does. He's not renewing his contract to make sure that even if Barca do sell him in the summer, they get some kind of fee for him. So it's interesting when it comes to him, but I think he really needs to get it together now, especially with the way the team's been performing. He needs to get to that level, and if he wants to come back and have any form of prominent role in the squad and the team, he needs to get his priorities straight very soon. Now, I'm probably going to do an entire preview about the game before the game happens with Girona, but I'm going to just touch on it a little bit that it's going to be a difficult game. Obviously, Girona had a remarkable season last season. They had they were literally third place after Barca and Real Madrid, I'm pretty sure. And obviously, they lost a lot of players this summer. They lost Alex Garcia. They lost Savio. They lost Dovvik. They lost a lot of their core players from last season and last season's success. And they've gone to bigger teams now. But they've still started the season strong this season. Not as strong as last season, but they're still a team to beware. And they did make some signings that have strengthened their squad in some areas. So they have now reached a level as a club where when you go to play, whether it's home or away against them, it will be difficult. And they're not a team that just sits back. They know how to attack. They know how to hit you on the counter or even break down your defense. Michel is a great manager. It's going to be an important game for Barcelona to come back out of this international break with the highest possible intensity, the highest possible sharpness, and let the footballing world know that what they did before the international break has not ended yet, and it wasn't a purple patch. So it's going to be an important game, and I'll cover that more. But if we talk about the international break for Barcelona overall, it was another case of Spain being absolutely dominant. Yamal registered another assist. Ferran Torres even came in off the bench, where he's probably going to have his main role of the team in Barcelona as off the bench, impact sub. He came off the bench against Switzerland and he managed to get a goal and assist as well. And I think the players overall, they did get a good amount of rest. Obviously, like I said, Ferran came off the bench, so he didn't play full matches. Yamal played the full first match, but he got subbed off at halftime in the second match. Pedri didn't play the first match, but he got subbed off early on into the first half of the second game, because Lenormand got a red card, so Spain needed to adjust their lineup and put another defender in. So overall, that's a positive for Barcelona, and I think these periods of rest and the upcoming few days of rest that the team has before the game against Girona is going to be massive, because now with UEFA and FIFA adding a bunch more tournaments, a bunch more matches into player schedules, any form of rest will happily be taken with open arms. And I think that the rest coupled with Hansi Flick's intense training and conditioning is going to be a whole huge positive for Barcelona across the whole season. But overall, I'm very happy for once with how the international break for Barcelona has gone. They need to start off strong with their first game back against Girona and maintain what they've started the season with before the international break. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this one. It's a bit of a shorter video than some of the other ones I've made, but if you have any comments, leave them down below. I'll answer them in the next videos. But for now, peace.